Hey there guys, and welcome to another Doctor Who DVD review, and today I'm going to be doing a review of this Doctor Who DVD, which is Genesis of the Daleks. Now, I'm probably going to get a lot of comments saying, oh, this story, it's overrated because, it's the best, well, regarded as the best Doctor Who story of all time, but I'll get into that once I've had a look through this DVD and basically give you an overview of the product itself. And you probably just heard my voice crack there, but so let's crack on and take a look at the sort of packaging of the DVD. So I really like this sort of greenness of the cover. It's really nice. It's sort of it's quite iconic actually, and probably because it's the best Doctor Who story of all time in a lot of people's eyes. And so it's very green, as you can see, a nice green banner. It's a 2-disc set. We've got the spine. We've got the black To Entertain logo. I don't know why they changed it, but who knows, eh? We've got some nice pictures from the story. Some pretty iconic images there. We've got the blurb, and of course it's written by the legend that is Terry Nation, who wrote a lot of the Dalek stories in the classic series, and his last one was of course Destiny of the Daleks. And we've got the blurb, we've got the special features, and I'll read you the blurb. So the blurb is: the Doctor's own people, the Time Lords, have foreseen a time in which the Daleks dominate all other life forms in the universe. So disturbing is this possibility that they break their own laws of time in an attempt to change the future, and who better to send upon this quest than their own renegade number, the Doctor. Unwillingly transported into the fields and trenches of a battle-exhausted Skaro, the Doctor must face his most dangerous mission ever, to prevent the Daleks from ever being created. So sort of like a dramatic reading there. I do quite like to sort of put emphasis whilst reading the blurb. So we've got special features. I'll give you a moment to pause that. I think the camera quality is decent enough for you to screen grab it and just have a quick read. Inside we have the booklet just had fallen out. We've got 2 discs because it's quite a special DVD, and we've got the booklet in here. Annoyingly, it doesn't come with a little grip so you can slot the booklet in place. I know Survival had that same problem as well. So if I put the booklet back in there. Now for my overall thoughts and opinions on Genesis of the Daleks. Now, of course, it is regarded as being the granddaddy of Doctor Who stories, and to be honest, I can see why that might be the case, because it's full of iconic moments throughout. It's brilliantly directed by David Maloney, I think the director is. Yep, David Maloney. And of course it's in the sort of, a lot of people regard the Philip Hinchcliffe era as sort of the golden era of Doctor Who, because there's hardly any bad stories in it. I know people don't really like the Planet of Evil that much, but I've yet to watch that, so I haven't even got it, so I'll probably watch that at some point. But yes, of course, it features Michael Wisher as Davros, and he is probably the definitive Davros. Terry Malloy is great. I think he does a great job of Davros. Not so much David Goodison, because Destiny of the Daleks isn't really that good in my opinion. And of course, Julian Bleach is Davros in the new series, and he's good as well. But I think Michael Wisher is brilliant, and he did go on later to do some of the Dalek voices, like in Death to the Daleks, I think. And I'm not that much of a fan of his Dalek voices, but I think the Daleks in this story are incredibly menacing. They're probably at their most menacing, because they were menacing in Daleks Master Plan, Evil of the Daleks. They were quite cunning, and in Power of the Daleks as well. And it is it's a 6-part story as well, so it's unlike a lot of the 6-part stories in the classic series. Most of them are really good, but there are a couple where you've sort of got it does take quite a while for things to happen in some of the 6-parters in the classic series. But this one, I think it's the way the plot is structured is fantastic, and Terry Nation is obviously the creator of the Daleks, and he always writes the Daleks brilliantly. And it's a shame that the Daleks has sort of gone downhill a little bit in the new series. They, I don't know, they just haven't been the best they could be, really. And I hope Chris Chibnall or somebody in the Chris Chibnall team just delivers a really great Dalek story, because I think that's what the show needs at the moment. Just a really great Dalek story just to kick things off again. And Peter Miles gives a great performance as Nyder. It's so obvious that Terry Nation sort of made them out to be sort of narcissistic, but at the same time they were sort of scientists, and there were a couple of rebellious scientists as well. The characters are great and memorable. Tom Baker gives an absolutely fantastic performance, and of course it's his first season. The only story I haven't watched from that season is Robot, and I don't know why it's taken me so long to watch it, but I will watch it eventually. And of course you got Ian Marter as the brilliant Harry Sullivan, who's a great companion, not just because he shares my first name, but also I think he's just a really great companion. And of course we've got the iconic Elizabeth Sladen as Sarah Jane Smith, who is also brilliant, but I don't think she gets that much to do in this story. It's mainly focusing on the dynamic between Davros and the Doctor, I think. But I think the whole episode, the whole story is incredibly atmospheric, especially when they're sort of outside the bunker. And there's some great shots of the Daleks in episode 6, and I think the cliffhangers are really strong. And especially when Davros is pretty much forcing the Doctor to tell him the reason for every Dalek defeat, because I have watched this story recently, because to me this DVD is incredibly nostalgic, and because it's the first Doctor Who DVD I ever bought, and I've pretty much watched the whole DVD to death because I loved the special features on it. I think they were really good, and to be honest, I can imagine a lot of fans already having this in their collection, because it's practically the perfect jumping on point. It's because the Pertwee Dalek stories aren't the best, although I do really like Day. I like all of them, to be honest, because I'm a Pertwee fan, so I pretty much like all of his stories. But then you've got this story, and it's like it sort of makes all of those stories look a bit shit, and apologies for that sort of bit of foul language there, but I think it's partly down to the script. It's the beginning of how the Daleks were created. It just adds new sort of, gives the audience a whole lot of information that we never knew before about the Daleks and their creator. Davros is incredibly powerful in the story. Really intelligent. Really, he's an incredibly. He's a completely authority figure. He's a complete authority figure. I was struggling to get my words out there, and it's just a crackingly good story. I can't imagine there's a single Doctor Who fan out there who hasn't watched the story. The only fans I can imagine who haven't watched it are the fans that deem the classic series as crap. And I hate those fans. I'm sorry, but I just can't stand the fans who just don't watch the classic series because of the fact that special effects are bad. It just really pisses me off. But it's an almighty story. I think my only problems with it are sometimes it can get a bit slow. Overall, the pacing is good, but sometimes I think the pacing can be a little bit off, like a bit of padding in there, but overall it's a brilliant story. And I think another problem would be that I think there could have been a few more Daleks in it, and it sort of gets to a point where it's around about episode 3, halfway through, and you're sort of wondering, so when are the Daleks coming into play in this? Because obviously it's called Genesis of the Daleks. and it does take a while for them to kick off, but I think it should have been called Genesis of Davros or the Khaleds or something different, but I think they had to call it Genesis of the Daleks to get people to watch it, which is understandable. But yes, it is. I would agree that it is one of the great Doctor Who stories. It's so watchable; you can just watch it over and over. And if you haven't watched it, I'd be surprised if you haven't. But even if you're sort of mainly a new series fan, just go out and try it, give it a go, because I guarantee you will not be disappointed. It is fantastic, and if you haven't watched it, like I said, please do, because it's just so good, and there aren't really many things wrong with it. So yes, thank you very much for watching this review, and obviously my next DVD review will be of a Fifth Doctor story, and it's going to be of Black Orchid, which is one that I recently picked up. So yes, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you then.